Welcome to A Better Now. I'm Jim Check. Today I sit down with Liz Sage from Team Fitness. I used to have a gym down here in Landmark, but you've moved on. Now you're opening a new location.
Yes, we are on Tut Street in the Pandosy Village.
And you've been doing this for a long time now, eh?
I have, yeah. We were the first personal training business in Kelowna, and we are 27 years strong.
27 years, wow. Mm-hmm. What have you seen develop in those 27 years?
Oh, wow. So many trends, some come and go. But the one thing that is not going is that we all need to exercise regularly.
Better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my motto, better every day.
Better every day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
And keep pushing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I only compete with myself, so.
Yeah.
And fitness is kind of like, for me, it's almost like an addiction. Like I tend to go every day. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't go because I'm pretty lazy.
So you made it routine.
I did it. Made it part of my habits and rituals for sure.
Yeah. And that's the way it works.
Yeah, because I've done it throughout life, and then I've had gaps, big gaps, 2 and 3 years.
Yeah.
And how do you keep people on track? Like, how do you you're obviously helping people. Some people need that big head start for sure.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to get people to do first is to find their why. They've got to make sure that they understand why it's important and make some goals around health and wellness. And then once they really, realize that that's what it's going to take for them to have a quality life, then it kind of rolls into their lifestyle. So that's what we try to do. Is there's 23 other days or other hours of the day. So we want to make sure that we're impacting some of that with sleep and stress and their nutrition, as well as other things.
So you help them with nutrition as well? Like
yeah,
some guidelines?
I mean, some coaching, but our number one thing is exercise. But those other things are a big part of our business model. So we want to make sure that we're handling those 5 components.
One of the things I say to people when they ask is I just say, like, if you're laying on your deathbed and I could give you 10 years, would you take them if I said you had to do a couple of things, would you take those 10 years? And most people would probably say yes. And I think it's pretty obvious that fitness will easily give you, on average, 10 years.
Yeah.
Or more. And plus, like you just said, mobility.
Yeah. So there's health span and there's lifespan, right? And so a lot of people think of their lifespan. But in those last 10 years, we have this decline of the 10 years.
Mobility, for sure.
Mobility, fragility, strength.
I took up golf last September. And I thought it would be tough because I've never really golfed before. But I found that it really helped with my whole movement, like hip movement and everything, and it's actually freed up. I used to get a lot of, every now and then in the gym, I'd get some back pain. And then I'd be like out of commission for a couple of days or like pushing through it. I seem to be better now with golf.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And you probably are able to play golf more freely because you are strong and working out every day.
Yeah, for sure.
And gaining strength. And when you gain strength, you do the exercises to gain strength, you actually increase your mobility and your range of motion because you're moving your joints in ways that
slow down the aging process too.
Yeah, so that's that whole health span thing, right? So so those last 10 years, instead of them declining in this gradual slope, we want to lengthen the health span so that you actually go further with quality life, and it's just the last year that you have more of a struggle with your health, right? So that's the difference between health span and lifespan.
I started downstairs in your gym. You had the gym here
Landmark.
About 5 years ago. I was about 50 pounds heavier, and I've lost those pretty quickly, and I've kept them off for 5 years. So
That's because you have a habit. You have habits.
Yeah.
And probably also what might have happened with you as well is when you started to have a regular exercise routine, everything else sort of falls into place to some degree. I mean, you might have to put some more effort into those other components like good sleep and nutrition and reducing stress levels and watching, what you do with hormones and intake of other substrates and things, vitamins, etc. But when you're feeling better physically, you tend to look at, okay, well, what else am I putting in my body? And so your nutrition
that's
tends
been a big
to be
one for me.
sweet.
Like, I do have a sugar weakness, but to lose all that weight, I definitely went off sugar and wheat. That was a big thing.
Right.
I just kind of like pump the brakes on that.
Yeah.
I still kind of like now indulge in sugar, but
Yeah.
if I golf, if I walk like 12 kilometers and I do an hour and a half workout, I'm pretty good with that, that piece of cake. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because you're burning off a lot of calories in those 18 holes for sure especially when you choose to walk. There's lots of people who
I choose to walk most of the time.
Yeah.
So it's nice to walk. You were downstairs for a long time, 20 some years.
Not
15?
quite.
Well, I guess it
but
wouldn't be.
Yeah, not in this
Not in
space.
this
I was in
building.
the other building for quite a long time as well, but in this one, not as long. But in total, working in the district here for, 15 years.
So where's your new location?
So we're on Tut Street in the Pandosy Village.
Okay, that's a beautiful area as well.
Yeah, so it's between Osprey and
It's a little kind of art
Raymer.
district kind of thing, and there's
yeah,
some
it's some little
studios and
cultural
stuff like that.
little
Yeah.
stuff in there. Yeah, nice building. Yeah.
So SOPA's there, SOPA Square.
They're up further. We're further down towards
Okay.
downtown a little bit. But yeah, nice space.
Have a lot of the clients that you had here followed you there, or?
Yeah, all of my clients have come to the new space. Yeah, so it's, they come for the coaching, not necessarily just where you are. The coaching is a big part of, why people follow anybody, supposedly.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's been good. Yeah, lots of people getting the goals met that they need to. And that's a big part of our focus is just got to help them figure out what are their goals around health and wellness and then have a plan to make sure they achieve those goals.
So when is the grand opening, or when was the?
So we're doing a soft opening with the clients that we have, November 1st, and then the week of the 24th of November, we'll be opening up to more of the public and the Pandosy Village tenants and merchants and neighborhood, because there are actually people who live in that neighborhood as well.
Obviously, COVID hurt your business a lot, like many other businesses. Are you recovered back to where you were, or are you?
Yeah, we are. We're not a box gym, so we don't have kind of a access membership. So people come to us because we're a personal training studio, so they don't come in on their own. So they're coming in to work one-on-one, two-on-one, or small group, which is our team training, which is kind of coincides with our name.
There you go.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean team as in a hockey team or
Right.
soccer team. It means a team of
Like 3 or 4
humans
people
who work
yeah.
together. Some of them know one another. Some of them come to us knowing one another and build their own team. The science shows that if you work out with people that you know and are friends with, you have better results as well.
So if for a typical person, like say I wanted to come there, is that like once a week, twice a week?
Typically, it's 2 week.
Twice a week?
Yep, twice a week, and we're all about strength and conditioning. So there are some cardio, intervals in there sometimes with the workouts. But when people have accountability to 2 strength and conditioning workouts a week, we get them results. Right? But they need to be consistent, because crushing it every once in a while, just a workout here, a workout there.
It's like saying
Not
going
gonna
and doing
happen.
100 push-ups and saying,
Yeah.
okay, I'm good for the month, right?
Exactly.
But,
yeah.
I think when I started working out, especially the abs, like I could barely do like 10 proper sit-ups right now.
Yeah.
Like I can do a lot of different things, right? And push-ups too.
Yeah.
It's just about incremental changes. right?
Absolutely. And that's the thing, when you're consistently average, it's organically going to change on you because you're showing up so frequently for yourself, right? And then all of a sudden, average turns into above average, and above average turns into good, and then really good. And then, hey, I'm fit.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you
Yeah.
got there and you don't.
Well, I started, I think I would do 10 or 15 minutes and I was tired. Now I'm doing an hour and a half and I'm not tired. So I'm just like, okay, an hour and a half is probably too long, right? But my body doesn't get tired after an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm still pushing. But I find that golf is very similar.
In what way?
Because it's like incremental changes though, right? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
Okay.
there's so many aspects to a swing.
Yep.
And so many, it's just like little things, right? And timing and a whole bunch of different things and power that you can get just by doing things properly.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like I don't want to get too far in golf, but I was probably hitting a 7-iron when I started like 130 yards. And if I hit it clean now, it's like 180.
Yeah, that's
so,
great.
Do you know what I mean? So that's club head speed and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So that's mobility and getting your hips out of the way and all kinds of stuff. And that,
Yeah, and that's the same thing that happens when you're working out. If you're doing things the right way, you're going to maximize the results that you get from that. And that's tweaking technique, and that's a big part of what we like to do with our clients. Is we're pretty picky on how they move, and then once they start to move better, they can actually do more because they're moving better.
Yeah, I bring that up because I golf with a lot of older gentlemen and ladies up at different golf courses. You get paired up with people. And lots of them say, "Oh, you only started last year," and like, "How are you?" Like, and they're, like, "I've been doing this like 20 years," but they're obviously their mobility is pretty bad,
Yeah.
and they're, like, they're not in shape.
Yep.
And I want to say, like, one of the things you could do is increase your mobility, right, by starting to work out, right? Strength training is kind of like foreign to lots of people.
It is. I think part of that, though, is because people are intimidated by the strength component and building muscle. And as we age, that's one of the most important things someone can do for themselves is to actually maintain the muscle that they have. And for most people, actually build more of it. And that's a requirement of strength training. And as we age, we lose the hormones that are, responsible for helping us sustain and synthesize muscle, testosterone and estrogen. So when that disappears eventually, the only stimulus we have to grow muscle is strength training. So if you're not using it, you lose it. So
use it or lose it.
Use it or lose
and
it.
I know there's some females I talk to that say they don't want to get big and bulky, but that's not going to happen.
Most times, people aren't even capable of getting that big. And sometimes people are more susceptible to, because of their body typing, to gain a little more muscle. But if you have the right plan, it's not going to happen. And it's actually not a bad thing that you gain muscle. Muscle is a good thing. It helps increase your metabolism. It gives you more capacity to move and to live better.
And more muscle actually help you burn fat too.
Exactly, that's
Right,
a
'cause
metabolism thing. So it increases your metabolism, and that helps you burn more.
So you can eat more sugar.
Well, we want to actually, that's a good point, because as we are aging, we want to actually increase our protein and decrease our carbs,
Right,
which would be
yeah.
sugar. Not drastically, but more on the protein side and a little less on the carbohydrate side, so that we can synthesize muscle, because you need the protein to be able to build muscle. And if
I eat
you're
a
not
lot.
eating it,
I eat a lot of eggs. Like I probably do 5 or 6 eggs a day.
that's a lot of eggs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I eat a lot of eggs.
So is that eggs or
apples.
eggs white? Egg whites.
Oh, the whole thing.
Yeah. So you do have to be careful a little bit, because
Yeah.
half of the egg is fat, right?
It's better than Coca-Cola.
Well, it absolutely is, especially if it's not a Diet Coke. But still, there's all kinds of really great things you can have that are, low in calories and high in nutrient for protein. Right? So making sure that you are doing that is really going to help you sustain the muscle that you have as you're aging, and then also build muscle if you are in strength and conditioning.
What do you think stops people? Because I know there's quite a few people that I run into that, they'll mention that I look like I'm fit, and they don't believe that my age is and stuff like that. What do you think stops people from starting on a program?
Well, sometimes it's intimidation. A lot of times it is. I'll hear, I'm just going to go and get in shape before I get in shape. And they may have had a bad experience sometimes going to a place where it just was overwhelming. And I think,
Or were they just sales pitchy trying to sell you something?
well,
all the
maybe
time,
not.
or-
Maybe not. They got further than that, and they actually started to work out or went to a class, and they just did too much too soon, too fast, right? And so it's like anything, that showing up average, consistently, you just have this organic growth of building muscle, doing the exercise better, gaining results, and all of a sudden you can do more and do more after that. So it's a little progressive stepping stone as opposed to this, big spike upwards.
Right.
Yeah. And so intimidation is one of them. Another one is, a big one is time. But what people don't realize is, even 30 minutes of consistent exercise, daily or every other day, particularly if it's specialized strength training, like you're lifting weights. And these are weights, and sometimes body weight is going to be enough to start with, so you don't lift weights until you can actually do something through body weight first. So let's take a squat, for example, right? So a lot of people can't really even squat their own body weight. So you want to make sure you're able to squat your body weight for, 15 to 20 repetitions, 2 or 3 sets of that. And only after that, and you start to adapt to that particular thing, would you add body or dumbbell weights or kettlebell weight or a vest with weights on it or something like that. So the idea is progressive workouts. And, we have enough time to do all kinds of other things that are meaningless and menial tasks, so again, going back to the value of what this is going to bring to your life, it's strength and conditioning training is life-changing, literally. Like it really does change what people can do and the capacity that they have.
For sure. I feel younger today than I did when I was 55.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know I look way better than I did when I was 50 pounds heavier, right?
And when you look better, you feel better. When you feel better, you look better. I mean, there's, they go hand in
mobility's way
hand.
better. Like I used to get a lot of back pain. And I think that had a lot to do with the core.
Yeah, and then
Right.
also carrying the weight. You
Yeah.
know, for every Every extra pound of body fat that you would carry on your abdominal area or your hips is an additional 3 pounds of pressure to the lower back and hips. Right, so that's someone's carrying an extra 10 pounds even. That's 30 pounds of pressure on their spine and hips.
Yeah.
You know, so that can play havoc with all kinds of things.
I mean, I blame the food industry a lot for what goes on, because if you shop in a grocery store, like all the middle aisles, basically junk, right? Do you know what I mean? Like all those aisles, and then the good stuff is expensive.
Exactly.
And then if you go out to eat in a restaurant, the fast food's cheaper than decent food.
Yeah.
Food prep is hard for lots of people. And so that's why I try to eat, like not to eat too fancy for breakfast. That's why I eat a lot of eggs, so that I make sure that I'm not going to reach for, cereal, which is basically garbage too. Right? We did a thing on Fruit Loops here. Half sugar.
Yeah.
Half sugar. Like a Fruit Loop is actually half
and
sugar.
not even just Fruit Loops. I mean, there's so many other.
Yeah, well, I mean, all of them. Wheat and sugar.
Wheat and
Cut
sugar.
Wheat and sugar, you're going to lose weight.
Yeah.
And what's cereal? Wheat and sugar, or corn and sugar.
And still, well, yes, especially, the corn is in so many products as well, right? And I think that's the other thing too, is that if people were just a little more mindful as to, what it says on the label, and if, if the first thing is corn syrup, then it's really not an option. Like it just find another option.
Yeah,
right?
There's corn in so many things for sure.
Yeah, and it's the corn syrup that's causing that high sugar content, and then people are becoming insulin intolerant, and now we have more
insulin
type
resistance
2
kind of thing too.
Yeah.
Right? See, and I think that's what I had going back like 5, 6, 7 years ago, because I would diet for 2 or 3 days. Actually, diet. I don't diet now. So diet, like basically starve myself for 2 or 3 days, and then somebody said, "Let's go out for lunch" or something, and I go out for lunch, and I'd probably lose the pound in those 2 or 3 days, and then I would just eat whatever, and then I would be back at the end of the week. I'd be back at the same weight, and I said, "Well, at my age, it doesn't matter. Like I'm not going to lose the weight. It's just impossible. It's what I'm stuck with." And I just kind of thought that's what it was. Like like there's no way somebody my age gets to lose weight. I kind of had resigned myself to that fact, and then I watched some YouTube, and there was this guy on there, and he just basically said, just quit wheat and sugar for 90 days and you will see a difference. So I just said, what if 90 days, I'll give it a whirl, right?
Yep.
And the weight started coming off so fast, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And then I ate a lot of plants, like a lot of,
Yeah.
and chicken.
Plant-based
and
food,
yeah,
whole
just
foods.
like
Whole
lots
foods.
of salads and lots of chicken.
Yeah, there's your protein and there's your
and it
carbs, but in a healthy
and
fashion.
avoided the just kind of like ate with a mission, just to, and holy cow, did it work.
Yeah. No, you've got a good point there, and I think too, your comment about at my age or whatever, how I can't do it now, like it's just too late for me.
Too far gone.
Yeah. But it just isn't. Like it doesn't really take as much as people think.
If I can do it, I think anybody can do it, because I'm just an average guy. Right? Does it mean like just, and it's not.
Yeah. But you have to also want it.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
You have to want it.
It's definitely the habit thing, right? Because I've gone through the habit a few times in life, but I've never achieved the results I've achieved this time around, though, because I've done it in the past, where I think I worked out at H2O for a while. But I ended up at H2O, which was weird. I'd work out, and I'd reward myself with the hot tub and the pool. And at the end, I was doing more hot tub than pool and workout. so the reward was just like, okay, a 5-minute workout. Oh, I just don't feel it today. And then just swim one lap. One length is lots today. Just go sit in that hot tub.
That's a way for some people to start, though, is to just go.
I was going down low.
Yeah. We want it to be the other way around. But showing up for yourself is the first step. And simply walking, for a lot of people can really have some great results too.
Golf, another reason for golf.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. I mean, if you are walking the course and lots of people aren't, and it's great fresh air, but it is not helping your
cardio or whatever.
Wellness,
That's about where I get my cardio. I don't do a lot of cardio in the gym. I never liked cardio. I like tennis. I like racket sports.
Yeah.
And
Well,
stuff
the
like
tennis
that,
and the
but
racket sports, the stop and go, with the increasing of heart rate, stop and go. It's kind of like an interval set of heart rate up and
like a hit thing, kind of
like
thing.
a hit. Exactly. And the research is showing us that is actually shorter workouts but higher intensities are giving people great results with their cardiovascular wellness. And that's
well, I've seen that. Like if you go on down there and you ride the bike for an hour and a half, and you're just like, well, I just got rid of one donut, right? Just like that's a hard donut to get rid of, right?
Yeah, it's a hard donut. But the other thing on the interval training is that you can shorten your time in training in working out considerably and still maximize some great results from that. So we should talk and give you maybe a little switch up on
on the donut thing. I just thought of like, if you had to do the cardio first to get the donut, most people wouldn't take the donut. Right? They're just like, you ride that bike for an hour and a half and I'll give you this donut.
That's right.
I'll pass.
That's right. Yeah, donuts, they're a lot. They are a lot of calories.
They're jam-packed.
Yeah. And think about 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories is for 1 pound of fat, right? So, if you burn 500 calories a day and you change nothing else, at the end,
you have a deficit.
You would have it at the end of the week. You would have a 1 pound loss, right? And so, but 500 calories is a lot for people. Like to change their diet, their menu, 500 calorie deficit is quite a lot, right? Yeah. And it's a big jump for the metabolism to even understand. So, but if you did 250 calories, that would be quite manageable, right? And then 250 calories, you did some exercise, right? So you could do 30 minutes of strength training, and that would probably, for most people, get up to 250 calories, pretty close. They could do, 45 minutes of walking. That could also do the same thing, but intentional walking, not just a stroll, right? So you put those two together, now you have 500 calories in total, and that's something that people can sustain and also can do for longevity, so that they end up doing what you did, and all of a sudden they've lost this weight. You probably actually spent a lot more, reduce your calories a lot more than 250 calories a day when you took out.
When I did that wheat and sugar thing, for sure. Yeah. It was.
Was that also included all sugars, like alcohol?
I don't drink anyway.
Okay, so that, and then
so that was an easy one for me. Coca-Cola was the big one.
Okay.
6 Coca-Colas a day, which then I traded for.
6 Coca-Colas.
So which I then traded for 6 iced coffees, because I thought those would be better.
So now what? What is it?
Just bubblies.
Okay.
So I get the soda water, which is supposedly carbonated water is supposedly good for you.
It is, but you do have to be careful that you don't overdo carbonated water too, because that can have its problems as well. So we got to be careful.
I'm pretty sure I'm at.
You're an extremist.
I'm pretty sure I'm at 6 right now. Yeah, definitely. Like the sword is your strength and your weakness, right? So like the edge. Yeah. And I definitely.
You're going all in.
All in, yeah. So all in on golf, all in on.
Yeah, but that's still, you're hydrating well, but again, you can overdo the soda. The carbonation can, if it's really excessive. So
I just need cold water though. I need it to be cold.
Oh, that's interesting, because I'm the opposite. Like I don't like the taste of water, and I do drink carbonated water, half and half kind of thing through the day, but I prefer it to be room temperature.
I only do 1 coffee now. That's it. One coffee a day, and that's while I work out. That's it. I used to do like 6 coffee a day, and the dentist said, "What do you do in your teeth?" I'm just like, drinking coffee all day.
And sugar in your coffee?
Yeah. And he said, "Stop it."
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think I was out with a couple of people for lunch the other day, and they both ordered hot water.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Just hot water. And I was like, who does that? Yeah. I met 3 people that just ordered hot water.
Yeah. Hot water and lemon. Yeah,
it's a thing.
Well, partly because, maybe it was a cold day, so they just wanted to, have something hot. Oh, okay, all right. But
just a habit, I think. Like tea, almost like lemon.
It's like tea.
Lemon tea without tea.
Without the tea. Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it hydrates you. And then you're, it's the whole thing is like socializing, like as you're going for coffee, but you don't really want a coffee or a tea, and you got to order something.
If you're just talking to people in Kelowna, how do you what is what you'd say to them to get them to kind of like change their, make that life change? Because I think I made a lifestyle change. I'm not on a diet. I don't think when I got success, I never said the word diet. It was a lifestyle. I changed my lifestyle. That was the big thing for me. And I just, and I tried and also so kind of like yo-yo sometimes when you kind of forget a little about things. I did do shorten my eating window, tighten it up a bit.
So restricted eating.
Yeah. Where I don't try to eat a lot at night for sure, because I find that is one of the worst things, to eat a big meal at night and then go to bed, right?
Yeah.
You don't sleep that well anyway.
No.
So I try to eat a big breakfast, and the biggest meal is lunch, I guess.
Yeah.
And then
taper down.
Something lighter if I can. But every now and then you get invited out, and
of course.
And then the old wolf shows up, that's, you know, you're born with, right? Then food shows up at the table and other people aren't eating. You're just, well, I'll just try some of that. I'll try some of that. And all of a sudden you have a buffet, right?
Exactly.
Especially if you're out with family, you don't want to waste food, right?
Yeah.
So next thing you know, you're eating everybody's food.
Yeah.
And I have to refrain from that.
Yeah, no, the restricted eating is a real thing. And we can do that naturally by like with a 12-hour window. So the last thing you eat is at 7, then you don't eat again until 7 in the morning. And I think if more people would, you know, take that behavioral change into their lifestyle, that would be a really great start, because you can totally go for 12 hours without eating, and you're sleeping 8 of it, hopefully, 7.
I know a couple of people that have made huge dramatic changes in their lives, and I have a couple of friends and even a brother that had cancer. And then I said to him, you know, like, you got to change, because he was drinking and doing a lot of other stuff. And I said, you got to cut all that out. You got to just like eat as clean as you can. Like, because and then a year later, he said the doctor said he was clean. So whether they misdiagnosed him,
Right.
or it worked. And then there was a police officer down in Penticton that completely changed his diet and went into remission too.
Yeah. Well, there's certainly lots of science that supports, you know, change in nutrition, particularly high processed foods.
Well, I think sugar is definitely
Sugar's a big one.
like a toxin for the
It
body,
is,
really.
yeah.
It's just
it's just a breeding ground.
It should have a warning label on it, right?
Yeah,
Like, you know,
absolutely.
and they hide that sugar in there, and it's just.
Well, they give it all
especially-
kinds of different names, right? So
yeah,
people don't
and
understand.
kids are. I mean, the cereal one is the one that blows me away.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, they put that box of cereal up there and it's got a couple hearts on it and stuff like that.
It's pretty.
Fortified with vitamins and minerals. And
Yeah.
why don't you just say what's really in there? Because
That's
the
right.
first ingredient there is sugar.
Yep.
Right?
But it doesn't almost say sugar, so people don't know that. So if they just look for O's, O-S-E, fructose,
Oh, yeah.
anything with an O-S-E on the end of it, then you want to pick another brand.
Yeah.
Right? And it's really easy to do, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but you know, you talked about giving up wheat. And so, you know, grains are still an important part of our nutritional consumption. So we still want to have those things.
I love bread.
But it's the refined, it's the high refined
So I do
wheat
sourdough
products.
now, which is supposedly better. But I try to cut back. And it's a tough in our society. Like Western culture is like, if you go in a restaurant, the menu is basically full of sugar. Like it's got some sweet sauce on it, or it's breaded, or a sandwich, or a hamburger,
Right,
or whatever.
right,
And very few people. I did a lot of lettuce wrap burgers for a while.
Yeah,
but
those are
very
great.
few people know how to do a lettuce wrap burger.
Oh,
And it's
yeah,
just
or
crazy.
wouldn't even think about it, actually.
Yeah, it's just like, or they do a really poor job of it, or they charge extra for the lettuce, which is cheaper than the bun. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just weird.
If you
right?
go
Like,
out, you mean? If you're going
yeah,
out,
if you're out eating, and it's
Yeah.
just like, I think A&W did a decent job with the lettuce wrap burger.
Yeah,
That was a while. I haven't had a lettuce burger for a while, but
Yeah.
so what message would you have if somebody wants to come and check you out down there at
Well, we
Touch Street there?
we like to talk to people ahead of time, so we offer what's called a free intro. It's a no sweat intro. So
Nice.
they come and just chat with us about their goals, and then we'll make a recommendation as to what we think would be a good fit for them. And sometimes it's not us. Sometimes they need to do something else besides us because of what they've determined what their goal is. So we will spend some time with them to determine that for them, and then give them our recommendations as to what would work. And if it's us, we tell them what that looks like. And if we think that they need to go somewhere else, then we give them that as well.
You should come on regular and do some fitness tips.
Sure, I'll come
Okay.
back anytime.
There you go. We do want you to like and subscribe, and we welcome more people in. We do want you to follow our newsletter, KelownaNow.com. Visit that all the time, every day. We are facing some headwinds with Bill C-18, so we ask for your support.
You got
We
mine.
think independent media is important
Yeah, it absolutely
in a
is.
local community, and we do think fitness is a really big important thing for. Again, the question I would ask people, if you're laying on your deathbed and I can give you 10 years, would you take it?
Yeah,
And here's the answer right here.
it is the answer.
Right there.
No question
and that's
about
the
it.
answer, right? So
Yeah.
10 more years with your grandkids.
Absolutely. I mean, not that long ago, I posted a social media post, and I said, I used to train for this, and it was me crossing the line with my mountain bike in a race. And I said, now I train for this. And so I was on a mountain bike with my 3-year-old at the time, grandson, in front of me, pedaling away, and then
Yeah.
at the park doing push-ups and
Grandkids are cool, right? At first I kind of resisted when it's like, Grant bumps. What? No.
But we get there eventually, right?
And we get there. We get there.
Yeah, and so
and
now,
we accept it, right?
Yeah.
Now it's just like, okay, that's
But
what it's all
look
about.
at what you
right?
can do with them. Like you got to be on
Yeah.
the floor. It's exhausting.
Should be golfing soon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. My little guy's now 5,
Yeah.
and so he's on a mountain bike now. And
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's great.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's great that they have you in their lives too. With fitness, I think because that's something that gets passed through the generations.
You
too,
live
right?
what you learn,
Yeah,
right? You
for
got to
sure.
model it for the kids so that
'Cause
they.
There was a TV show, an English TV show, and it was I can't remember where they used to go into the homes and they'd there was a family that was quite overweight and they had deep fried everything, right? So they made them go out and have a ceremonial burial of the deep fat fryer.
Never seen that one.
It was some kind of show, right? But I mean,
A reality show.
yeah, reality show. I don't watch TV anymore either. That's another thing people cut out.
A lot of time wasting there.
Yeah, because if you have like a lot of people say they don't have time.
Yeah.
I get it out of the way in the morning because I've tried different times of the day.
And it's not, and the morning is great, but the best time is when you can carve it into your schedule.
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
is there an ideal time? No question about it, right? And it's unique for different people. But the best time that you're actually going to get it done is when you can get it done. So
Yeah. I find that for my life, there's too many people asking for stuff
Time.
from me. Like soon as the world wakes up,
That's
like
right.
around 8:30,
Yep.
and it's like, hey, this, and then my time gets stolen by
For sure.
so many different people. So,
Yeah.
and I know that I'm a big habits person. So if my habit gets broken too many times because I want to always help people too, that I wouldn't be able to do it if
Yeah.
I didn't do it when everybody was sleeping.
that's right. Yeah.
Right. That's why I get up at 3.
And it's working for you. So what time are you in bed? 6?
No, like 9:30, 10. I only do like 5 hours. So, like
Yeah.
Arnold said, hey, people say they need 8 hours. He said, sleep faster.
Sleep faster. No, I would push you to have a few more hours of sleep. At least another 2.
I can't.
I don't know
I just
about
I
that.
just can't.
I bet you could.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet you could.
Maybe more Coca-Cola.
That's never going to work. Never going to work.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for inviting me. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
it's awesome.
Yeah, thanks so
I'll
much.
come out and check that new place out too.
Sounds good.
Thank you for watching Kelowna Now.